Welcome back to a history of saps, blackjacks, and slingshots. Today we're going to look at a new sap, but it's made with a very old design. This is by Green Man Leather, and they call it the Frontier Pal. The word frontier should definitely give you an indication of the antiquity of the design that I was talking about. This is one of the classic sap outlines, and it's so distinctive. You know, there just aren't other weapons that look like that, right? And this is the kind of thing I love about these weapons. You look at this, and if you didn't know what it was, you would just have no idea that this is a fighting tool. This one in particular I just got in natural leather as far as the finish goes, so that explains the light tan color, which I think looks pretty cool. Like almost all saps, this is a small item, right? Fits in your pocket. When you have this in your pocket, the loop there kind of sticks out, basically all of it. But that gives you easy access. There's the size, and it gives you a couple different options to hold it. But first, let's look at the item up close. And of course, grip and the classic sap strike, sideways, right? Kind of a side swipe. It's funny to see the look on someone's face when they give themselves a slap on the palm like that. This is a soft sap. You couldn't hear it there, but you will hear the contents shifting around. So extra traditional in that way. Back in the day when this kind of outline was really popular, I would say it was almost always soft-loaded. So here's one way to use that loop, see? It tightens up around my last finger, my pinky, and that way it really just can't fly away. Now, it's kind of a weird length in a way. I mean, it's just me, but, you know, if I stick my hand in there, that's too much, and I can't stick my wrist all the way through it, so I could do like that as well, and that is going to keep it from flying away. And now, while I just play around with it, let me mention that the more I choke up, the second grip, I choked up more than the first. That really changes the feel of the weapon in your hand. You wouldn't think that just a couple of fingers width could make a difference, but it absolutely does. The higher up, the more control you have, and the less power, I would say. So, speaking of frontier saps, here's a real one. And you can see the similarities, right? It's got that wasted grip, the way that the striking head kind of bulges out with that, you know, kind of circular swing out, and the way that the stitching goes around most, but not all, of the instrument. I've seen plenty of antiques that are much more similar in outline to the one I'm actually featuring in this video, and I've got to get my hands on one. So here's kind of an old-time contemporary. This would be carried around, you know, the same time and place, early 20th century, definitely before that as well, as the one we're looking at today. And you can see what it and the last one and these next ones are going to share is a homespun quality, right? This is long before the days of standardization. So I don't know if you remember Two Tails, one of my earliest videos was on that one as well. And again, same kind of user, basically. And now here's the antique that is the most like the Frontier Pal we're looking at, the throwback, right? If you recall this one. And this one's really similar, right? See the stitching? Now the handle is definitely different, right? Rope-based. Just giving a little close-up, a reminder of how the stitching works and how the rope is spliced in there to hold it in place. But that's really, really close. Still, I don't have an antique quite like this, and I definitely need one. So, I'm holding it in line with my forearm. Got a nice grip. Go ahead and just loop my thumb through there, and there's that very distinctive side swipe. And you can train with a lot of weapons, I mean most of them, and you're just not going to use a motion like that. And just imagine delivering nothing but short slaps, you know, with the flat of your hand with both sides. And here's a 1-2 combination with the lanyard. So, let's see that in slow-mo. See here, I'm showing how even with just the pinky and the top of the pinky through the loop, it would still keep the weapon from falling. So say you've lost your grip, the lanyard has helped you save it, and now I'm winding up or down for the strike. The slow motion setting gives the lighting this strobe effect, which is either cool or annoying depending on your point of view. So straight up the center line, and keeping the momentum right across. And yes, there is glass behind that curtain. Here's a straight punch coming out, and another cool thing about weapons like the sap with that flexibility is the double tap, right? Strike up and down across the same limb. Let's do a little more technique, because that's a request I've gotten more than once. So you're not going to jab with a kind of a floppy instrument like this. So you strike straight out with the back of the wrist smack, flick. And there's kind of clearing. Let's slow it down again, right? Using kind of an open stance. You're really inviting an attack down your center line, so you're ready for it. So you could smack the incoming limb, then taking it slow and in slow motion no less. So you smack the incoming limb, the other arm comes to back it up, could help clear that one out of the way, or catch the other arm if it was coming. Hopefully those give you an idea of what this thing looks like in action. It's just some possibilities, but they're odd weapons, they're shaped oddly, and you swing with them somewhat oddly on top of all that. You saw that in the double tap, the back of the wrist flick, but I think especially when it was sailing through the air sideways at the end of that 1-2 combination. I mean, that is just weird. So here it is, the Green Man Leather Frontier Pal, kind of a throwback sap. Thanks.